Hello ladies and gentlemen, everyone falls in between. My name is Toons. I'm sorry if my nose sounds running during this recording session. It's kind of clogged and I really can't breathe out of it. So it's going to come across like that. It's been annoying. I've been trying to wait for it to finally get better, but it hasn't. And I really want to record, so you're just going to have to deal with it. Sorry. So recently a Half-Life 2 mod named Swelter, which is a name that I'm not going to have a fun time saying because it does not roll off the tongue easily to me. But Swelter has recently came out on Steam, and you can play it right now for free. And I would suggest playing it, especially since this video will go over minor spoilers, even though you could definitely watch this video and play the game after and won't ruin the experience, because I'm not going to go very heavily and deep of what happens in the game. But I guess just a minor spoiler warning before getting into this video. Alright, now let's finally get into the mod. The game opens up with us on a train, as the main character narrates to us, well, pretty much the plot to this game. It is interesting that we have a main character that does talk. You don't often see that, but he ain't gonna be like Bad Cop from Intro B0. He barely talks throughout the half of the game. Probably maybe like 4 times in the whole game he speaks. Also, speaking of him talking, he probably has the worst voice actor. It is comically ridiculously bad.
A hindrance in the liberation of Earth.
They don't sound, they say everything in one tone. Oh shit, they barely talk half the time. They have capability of speech, and they have a flat tone. Bro, they're just autistic, our main character. And I was giving this mod shit for having bad voice acting. Real clever, guys. But all jokes aside, the main character has a really shitty voice actor. No offense to the actor, it's just, they are painfully obviously not a voice actor. Also, speaking more about our main character, they're just Mellow 7, but wider. And have a hat. This is completely off topic, but it's just really starting to get old that every Half-Life 2 mod has to make Mellow 7 their protagonist player model, guys. Just find a different model and make your protagonist, okay? I'm getting tired of seeing it. But necessarily the plot that we know of right now is before Gordon Freeman arrived, there was a different factions of resistance called the Black Squad. And originally the Black Squad and the regular resistance were allies, but the Black Squad had different ideals that contrasted with the plans of the regular resistance, so they're no longer allies. Someone you work with then comes in and tells you about your mission, how you have to make amends with the leader of the Black Squad, Rock. She also has a bald spot. She also lets us know that this train is not heading where it needs to be, so we gotta jump off that train. So we do so, and we hit her head, and in a really janky animation, and then a title card appears. We get woken up by a worker that tells us that we need to get off the tracks because, well, we don't work here. Now that we're finally up and looking around at the proper environment, I get to finally mention, I'll try not to mention this as much, but the environment to this game looks really nice. There's a lot of detail and it's really well made. Though it does kind of have a problem where there's so much going on and so much everywhere, which is really cool and impressive, but sometimes navigating can be kind of a chore because you're not necessarily knows exactly where you're supposed to, because nothing really is meant to fully catch your eye because how everything is so perfectly detailed. Though I'm also kind of stupid, so that could be on me. One thing that's really cool about this mod that it takes place in Central Asia, which is an aesthetic and place that ain't really commonly used in Half-Life mods, which is cool and it's breath of fresh air to use. Which is also where I can kind of give a pass with the shitty voice acting. A lot of people who are voice acting this mod are clearly not native English speakers, which is okay, I'm not gonna judge. But also, I feel like it being in a completely different place than that's often not an English era kind of gives an excuse. Even canonically, it does make sense in the Half-Life universe. People are constantly moving around the city to city, so it makes sense why there's constantly different people with accents and a lot of non like English speak. Bro, I feel like I'm the one here. I shouldn't be saying shit about people's English, bro. I could barely fucking talk. We eventually find a Metro cop that's, well, executing 2 citizens. He notices us, tells us to put our hands on the wall, but we're a badass, so we don't do that. Throws a grenade like a dumbass, giving us a way to escape. We run across a train. Then we make it into the city, which is where I'm also going to give another point to this mod that I really like, is that all the citizen variants of how, like, also they have different clothing. I really like that. I think it's really cool, fun details. Like, some have extraction worker outfits. For some reason, some of them just have CSGO heads. But either way, it's still really cool, and I like this feature a lot. It adds a lot more, and it makes seeing the same face a little bit less repetitive. Also, they make some of the characters, like, whiter. I don't know what's up with that. It looks really weird, okay? We eventually meet up with some rebels, and we show them their badge that we're a part of their side. They explain to us onto a whiteboard that just, I guess, is magical. The Combine are oppressing humans. Wow, who could have thought? Friendly lady welcomes us in and gives us some equipment. We get a stun stick because literally every Half-Life 2 mod gives you the stun stick, a little bit of armor, and a notebook. This notebook's cool, I guess. I mean, it's a little corny that something has to tell you fully where to go, but I did mention that this game isn't the best at communicating exactly what your goal is, so this is kind of handy in case you get lost a lot, which is something I did, but I also kind of forgot the notebook existed. We beat up a whole bunch of Combine, but I also found a really cute teddy bear, which is also one thing I also got to give credit for this mod. The mountain of new props they added, like this teddy bear and this rubber duck. I like the rubber duck a lot. Of course, you pick up a pistol from killing the Metrocots, but I never used it pretty much for my full playthrough. The stun stick does a perfectly good job at doing it, and by the time that you, well, aren't in close range combat anymore, you already have the SMG, which is, like, better than the pistol. You also find these, like, syringe things, which is, like, a cool mechanic to have, like, a healing supply on you, but, like, they give you, like, 10 HP. And I also forgot they existed half the time too. We help take out a car, and we eventually get the SMG. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of mixed on how I feel about the SMG. There is like absolutely no recoil, and I'm not gonna lie, it kind of feels a little bit more like playing a gun from Call of Duty than a Half-Life gun, which is welcome and kind of fresh. I don't know. It wasn't bad at all, the control. But I feel like in general with the combat, in general with this kind of, not just the SMG, but all the weapons, like, the enemies feel really spongy, like, it doesn't really feel like it's doing enough damage. Though I did play this mod on, like, hard mode, so I necessarily don't know in the other difficulties if it's a lot more balanced, a lot more different that way. I don't necessarily know, but I'm saying from my experience, combat kind of felt like a chore at points. After a few more little bit of puzzles and a few more combat sections, we eventually meet up with this professor. Like, I'm not gonna lie, kind of looks like a sex offender to me. I don't know, I'm just getting that in general aura from him. It's the mustache. It's not a good, trustworthy mustache. But he helps us on our journey. And also has a CSGO gun, which I thought was really funny to me. I don't know why. Did I ever mention that he could fucking die? Because I figured out that the hard way. We fight along, we do a few puzzles, we meet the Demo Man from Team Fortress 2, and this is not just a joke because he looks like him. He literally is called the Demo Man in the notes. I'm kind of pissed that they didn't give him a Scottish accent.
Of the barricade so you can run further. They will help you there, but you gotta help us too, okay?
Stay awake thinking about that. We get the shotgun in this chapter, and once again, just like the SMG, I'm kind of divided on it, but a little bit in different ways. The shotgun is really slow and kind of a pain to use at times, but it's annoying because it's really satisfying to use. The noise is great, how you hold it is great, it just feels good to use. But it's too slow. And to be honest, it might be a little too slow. Like, switching to them takes a lot of time, reloading takes quite a bit of time. It's kind of a pain. Especially in the last chapter, where if you're not prepared and your gun is caught off with no ammo, well, yeah, the Combine will definitely fuck you up. Get a sniper. I'm not a huge fan of how it feels, so I never really used it during my playthrough. It's definitely probably one of my least favorite weapons. Something about it feels a little clunky. It kind of feels like you have to take, like, 2 shots consistently to kill something, or I might just be missing when I use it. We've been on this part of the game for a bit, and I think I'm gonna move on. I would say it's fairly decent overall. There's some really fun segments, and there's some really not fun segments. You can get the pulse rifle early. You won't be using it for half the game, because there's like no ammo, like anywhere, until like chapter 3. We get to the end, we earn the professor's trust. He sends us on Rocky's way, because him and Rocky are apparently great pals. I forgot to mention that, sorry guys. Now we can easily make contact with the Black Squad members. Oh yeah, and Antlions. So, let me get the cool stuff done first about Chapter 2. Bullet Squid. You get a gravity gun, but it's not fully the gravity gun. You can only push things, and it's cute that it uses the beta model. Doesn't change the fact that the beta model still looks ugly as fuck. My game crashed a few times, and it stutters a few times on this chapter particularly. I think it's because, I don't know, it's strange. I get it because it is still pushing the source engine to its limit with a lot of stuff it's rendering. It's just really bizarre to see a Half-Life 2 mod kind of stutter at times and crash. Though I got a really funny crash out of it, so. We get a little nauseous on the car ride. This is foreshadowing. This will be something that will happen in the next chapter. Okay, that's all I have to say before I get onto my grease. Fucking hated this chapter, man. I could not stand playing it. I don't even think it was that terrible. It was just a miserable thing to play through. The combat segments were shit. Well, there was barely any. Most of them were puzzles, and I'm too stupid And it's just kind of got redundant after a while doing puzzle after puzzle, especially since this segment is fucking long. Well, I'm stupid, I got stuck on it for a while. But I just did not enjoy this segment. Plus, Half-Life 2 vehicles are clunky as fuck and don't control well. So yeah, this chapter kind of sucked for the most part. It does get better at the end, so we're going to cut to that, because I really want to talk about that. But for the most part, I didn't like Chapter 2 very much. I would say it's definitely the weakest part of this whole game. We make it to a base of theirs, and we get to see all these cool things. We got one playing a guitar, we can eat their rations, because we have a gluttony problem. Go talk to this man, and see about that. And we can get to finally meet Rocky. I don't know if that's meant to be the guy that gave us the shotgun. They look really similar, but it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure his skull is broken now. You and Rocky are now bros. He shows you what they've been hiding. Oh my god, guys, posing force, holy shit! Oh yeah, and there's a baby because, you know, they're outside of the rain on the production ring because it's really far out from, like, all the cities and all that. Who gives a shit but opposing force? A helicopter attacks, and unlike every traditional Half-Life mod ever, instead of giving you a rocket launcher to deal with it, it gives you a grenade launcher. I actually really liked this boss. The music it played was pretty good. It fucking wrecked me the first time, but I destroyed the other round, so you know what? Justice is served. I know some people really struggled with this, and I get it because, like, it's a grenade launcher. It's definitely not the most accurate on a flying projectile, but I'm okay with that. It's more of a challenge, and anyway, I've always thought grenade launchers are more fun to use in video games than rocket launchers anyway, so I'm okay with this. After we're done with the boss fight, we definitely hear someone who is definitely not right next to their microphone.
Hey!
And we're off to chapter 3 to leave this pretty fucking shitty chapter behind. Also, we get like sick or something and have to pass out on the chair for a bit. So, like, chapter 3 is my favorite, even though it has 2 parts that are the most miserable thing to play through. Like, they're fucking terrible, but everything else about chapter 3, I think is probably the best thing in the whole game. So let's get into it now. When you finally wake up from being sick, you come to meet with one of the most pretty looking things I've ever seen come out of the Source engine. I like the way this segment looks a lot, even though you're barely even gonna look at it for very long. This is fucking beautiful. You do a quick puzzle and boom, now we're off to raid a Combine base. In a really long train ride. And Rocky makes a remark that is very similar to what Alex said when he first met our favorite crowbar-wielding hero.
Oh, you're also a man of few words.
Fucking hate that.
5 hours later.
And then we start to raid the Combine base. I'm gonna be real, man. I just had a good time during this whole thing. Sure, there's a few hiccups, and actually it was quite a pain in the ass. But like, it was still fun, though. It wasn't like I was really that annoyed. I died a lot. It was mostly combat focused, so that's probably why I enjoyed it. It looked pretty good. Like the rest of the mod, it looked really good. I liked how it's kind of stood out with a lot more cooler color schemes compared to the rest of the game. I really like the mechanic about how, the suit charger thing just being right next to it and being actually attached to it. It's fun with adding combat to new variety to the enemies, and just also some really fun segments to do in general. I don't know. I like this part. It was good, alright? But we also get sick, by the way, and throw up and pass out. Don't worry, our boy Rocky's got us. We wake up in the hospital, and we open the door, we see the person that we met at the start of the game actually really mad at us, because it turns out we weren't actually meant to make amends. It seems that we forgot exactly what our mission was supposed to be when we actually literally hit our head at the start of the game. So she reminds us, and so then we go back in time.
Back in time to the first thing.
So this is where we learn why we've been saying make amends instead of shoot the bastard. Well, it's because we can't let Rocky know. With all of his eyes and ears around because of his, like, group of people and all that, that was to simply do it, to hide it. It's that simple. Our protagonist talks.
What are you going to do when the locals start to worship him as a martyr?
Just peak voice acting. We get on a plane with Rocky, realizing the guilt that we're gonna have to kill our homie soon. He has a plan to fake our deaths so the Combine no longer have us on their most wanted list. Rocky, where did you get the bodies from? There's no time. The Combine are attacking us. I gotta get up there and deal with these fucking drones. This is literally one of the most obnoxious parts of the game. It wasn't nearly as hard as everyone else made it out to be. I know a lot of people struggled on it. It wasn't fun. It took me one attempt. Wasn't a very fun time. The challenge did suck. It was a chore to get through. But then after that, we gotta do this puzzle. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really figure out how it worked. I just kind of pressed shit and then it eventually worked out. But yeah, no, me and Rocky now gotta work together to drive a drone. He drives, I shoot. The true way it is. This segment sucked. I mean, like, I love you, Rocky. You're so cool and all. You're my bro. But like, you fucking suck at driving, man. But hey, we beat the dropship. There, you can go fuck off now. But Rocky has a word with us, and you know what? If you're pretty picking on to what he's about to confront us about.
This recording from the ground.
Rocky, breaking news from the land. Trusty informer reported that the assassinations of influential but stubborn Black Squad leaders are being prepared. Beware of...
No, you should not trust a sex offender.
Who are you? Who the fuck are you? Well, do something. Show me your intentions.
There's 3 different outcomes, but there's only 2 endings. You shoot him, and then our main character goes on a narration about why it's sake for humanity. This ending's only worse because our main character has really bad voice acting. And then the other 2 endings are either, well, you drop your gun, or you let him shoot you. Both end up with the same outcome. It's just if you decide if you want to die or not. Both endings are like, alright. I mean, there's not really much to say besides that they're basic narrations. You can go watch them or play the game yourself if you want to hear them. But I really don't have any short summary to it. Well, I think it's time to go on to my overall thoughts. So, I mean, it's pretty good. I would definitely suggest, if you got remotely interested by anything during this video, to go check it out for yourself. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it's free, available on Steam, really easy to download. You have no excuse not to try it unless you don't give a remote shit. It's alright. I definitely don't think it's perfect. I don't think it's a perfect masterpiece. I don't think I'm gonna come back to this anytime soon. I don't see myself coming back. I do see myself maybe fairly, like, early coming back to it, but never. I don't see it in a good while. I don't think it's like a perfect masterpiece. Entropy 02 will still always be the master of Half-Life 2 mods, and I feel like it's unfair to compare that to that because that game just set a new standard, but this one still came really close, and don't at all what a criticism does not take place how much of a actual impressive this is of a product. Really good. I would definitely suggest everyone to go try it out at least once. At least skip chapter 2 because it's not very good. But besides that, go check it out. And if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying to make more longer Toons videos, and I hope you all have a good day. Bye.